welcome back to my channel. It's Life as V Knows It, and if you're new on my channel, you're welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my PCOS story, and this is such a hard video to do, but hey, I'm going to do it because, this video might help someone out there, or whatever, create some sort of awareness on PCOS. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what PCOS is, my personal journey and story, and what I'm doing about it to control my symptoms or sort myself out. So if you're interested in knowing about that, keep watching.
You paused it.
So PCOS essentially is an hormonal imbalance that causes you not to ovulate. It's so upsetting. It essentially means that there's some things going on that we're not really sure of that are making you not ovulate. So let me explain the science behind it, a bit of the science behind it, so what I understand of PCOS. Now, in a normal functioning lady, eggs are moved from like this hidden vault to your ovaries every month, and your brain sends a certain amount of follicle stimulating hormones to your ovaries, and they're supposed to stimulate one of your eggs, and that's what causes you to ovulate. But in a lady who has PCOS, what happens is your brain sends the same amount of FSH to your ovaries, but you have more follicles on your ovaries, so it's like diluted when it comes down. So the FSH is like, maybe let's say half a liter of FSH goes down to your ovaries, and then because you have so many follicles, it's spread across like all the different follicles, so it doesn't really it's not enough to stimulate one egg, and so you don't ovulate. But a lot of the other follicles are also like tiny, they're just stimulated to like tiny degrees. So the addition of all the estrogens produced from all those like tiny stimulations sends signals back to your brain to say, okay, stop sending FSH down to the ovaries. She's ovulating now, when the real fact is you're not ovulating. So that's a bit of the science behind PCOS. So for the longest time, my period has been irregular. Since the day I started my period, I've had irregular periods. And also, I didn't even realize that I had irregular periods for a long time as well, because I wasn't paying attention. And that's one thing that as ladies, I think we need to really like pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to pay attention to our cycles, pay attention to what your body's doing, what your body's saying. I wish I caught this earlier, but hey, it is what it is. So when I started my period, I wasn't like really tracking my period. I wasn't paying attention to my period. I was in high school, I was in boarding house. I think I was just excited to not even be on my period. When my period didn't come, it wasn't something that clicked that, oh, Veronica, you haven't been on your period this month. I was just happy that there was no period, because it was such a chore to be on your period back then. It wasn't until like later I started realizing when the breaks were going longer. So for example, I'll not be on my period for like 6 months, and then it would go to like 8 months, a year. So there were times I would not be on my period for a whole year, and then I'll come on my period like the next year, or like I'll come on my period 1 month, and then it would be like another 6 months. It was all over the place. Sometimes I'll come on my period back to back and not be on my period again for like another 3 months. So I had like really messed up cycle, very irregular periods, and maybe after a couple of years, I started getting worried and I started going to the hospital. So I went to so many hospitals in Lagos, so many, and a lot of the gynecologists were just telling me, you're stressed out, work out. And I don't know why, like if PCOS has existed for how long, why couldn't they just like properly diagnose me? I don't know why, but I went to so many hospitals and nobody told me anything about PCOS. The last before this one that I went to, the doctor he didn't tell me whether or not I had PCOS. He just gave me birth control pills. He said, let's see if this makes your period come. And I was like, okay. So I got on the birth control pills for I think 12 days or a month. I don't remember. Oh no, I think it was a month. or 12 days or 15 days, something like that. I don't remember. But I got on birth control pills for a little while, and you guys, my boobs went from a size double D cup to F. I was so upset. Like my boobs went from cool to cool, literally, and they stayed like that. Like there was no going back. I added so much weight. I was so hormonal. I was always so angry and emotional. Oh, I got off the pill, man. I came on my period. It did work. I came on my period, but I got off the pill because he had told me that I'll have to probably take those pills again. So I didn't go back to that hospital. I didn't go back to the doctor. I just continued my life. You know what it is, what it is. If this period is not going to be regular, it's not going to be regular. I can't come and kill myself. But I remember when I was still working, I would go to the office, and then all of a sudden I'm stained, I'm on my period. It just used to come anyhow. I'll come on my period, and it will come so heavy on the first day. So heavy on the first day, and I'm like, what is this? First of all, when it comes so heavy, it comes with so much pain as well. It's like someone turned on the tap. The period comes, the pain comes, I'm uncomfortable, and I'm upset, I'm crying, I'm angry, I'm moody as well. It's like my emotions are all over the place, and it was so embarrassing. I'm just there doing my fashion in the office, walking up and down, strutting, and I come on my period. It's the most embarrassing thing. So that's what made me to just be I've had it. I'm gonna go to the hospital. So I went to another hospital. I spoken to some of the guys in the HMO, the health insurance guys, and I was like, you know what, let me just go to the hospital. They recommended a good hospital, and I was so happy and pleased I still am pleased with the services of the hospital. So I went there, and on the first day, I remember it was December 1st, I went there, the doctor had told me, and before then I hadn't come on my period for a long time, for 6 months before I went to this hospital. And the doctor had told me that, hey, we did a couple of tests. Obviously, she had asked for my period history, and we did some tests. We had long conversations, and she finally diagnosed me with PCOS. I got an ultrasound done, and she actually showed me hey, look at your ovaries. So it was confirmed that I had PCOS. Before then, I'd never heard of PCOS before. Excuse me. So before then, I'd never heard of PCOS before. So I was just like, what is PCOS? What does this mean for me? What does this mean for my ovaries? And she explained, and I was like, okay. I think because somewhere at the back of my mind, I knew that, there was definitely something wrong with me, because this irregular period is not normal. So I knew that there was something wrong with me. So as much as I was shocked, I think I kind of understood, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm happy that I'm being diagnosed with something, I'm happy that there's actually medically, I'm not saying I'm happy that it's something medically, but I can point to the thing that is actually wrong with me and not be like, oh, I don't know what it is, but I just have irregular periods. Anyways, so the lady had eventually said, okay, we're going to put you on medication, we're going to do this, do that, we're going to run some more tests to find out your hormone levels and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you need to come when you're on your period, the second day on your period. I was like, okay, cool. That's whenever the period comes, because hey, I have no control over this. And she was like, okay, maybe we'll have to put you on medication and all of that. As we were talking, I just felt whoosh. Honestly, I was like, what is this? So I was like, excuse me. During my consultation, I was like, excuse me, I don't know what has happened right now, but I need to go to the bathroom to make sure. I went to the bathroom, found out I'd just come on my period. Oh, I'm like, what is this? But somewhere in my head, I was happy because I knew that the next day, I could quickly get my hormonal levels test. I came on my period December 1st. I came back for the test December 2nd. Everything was going on okay until the 8th day, when I found out that I was still on my period and it was still coming heavy. So what essentially happened was I was on my period from December 1st to the end of January, back to back to back to back to back. I was on my period for that whole stretch. It was the most uncomfortable period. Uncomfortable because it was heavy. Ladies, you guys know, when you are wearing your pad for only 7 days, you already feel somehow. how much more, like how many weeks? I was in my period back to back, and I was so scared because there's one thing in the Bible that's always scared me: the woman with the issue of blood. I don't know why, but I'm always like, every time I'm like, God, please, I don't want this illness. Every time I hear about that story, that's when I was younger. And so that's the first thing that came to my head. I'm like, oh my God, it has finally happened. I'm officially the woman with the issue of blood. Because I didn't know that was even possible, that you could be on your period for that long. I had called my doctor to book an appointment. They were really busy, so I couldn't get an appointment early. So I had to go like end of January. Eventually I went, and the doctor was just like, this is a mess. Gave me some medication, and the period stopped the next day. After the experience, I had to go back to the hospital, where I met another doctor who was like a visiting doctor or something. The guy was like a consulting doctor. And he came, and I had a conversation with him. I had my consultation with him that day, and he had advised me to go vegan. Now this is where it gets like painful. I was so sad. It wasn't like he said, you have to be vegan. What he said was, it's an option, considering my weight, considering also like the toxins in meat, and those things hamper and dairy hamper like your PCOS. You might want to try going vegan, this, that. I was just like, whew. Or cutting back on meat and dairy products and all of that. I was just like, oh my God. So now this is where it really hit me that, hey Veronica, you have PCOS. I wept. See, when I say I wept. I cried so much, so much. Like, I think for the next couple of days when I got that diagnosis, I just kept crying and feeling sorry for myself, and but hey, it is what it is. And the painful thing is, PCOS can't be cured, it can only be controlled. So you can only control the symptoms. So you can control the irregular periods, the acne. There's some people that have PCOS that have acne. I never experienced that, I do have like hair, but I always get a wax done, so I'm not even sure like what that is about. But I get hair on my chin and on I have like mustache. But I get a wax done, so I'm not really concerned about that. And I also don't have acne, but some people do get acne. So if you have acne, irregular periods, you might want to check with your doctor and find out, what's going on and what the cause is, and just make sure that you're okay. I think another thing that really worried me about PCOS is the fact that it's so difficult for someone with PCOS to lose weight. Like, once you have PCOS, it's so hard for you to lose weight. And losing weight is one of the things that helps your condition. So first of all, when you're overweight, your fat cells also produce estrogen, which also sends signals to your brain that everything is okay. You don't need to send any sort of FSH. You don't need to send more FSH than you're sending to the ovaries. So when you have PCOS, it's difficult for you to lose weight because of insulin resistance. And what happens is your body doesn't process glucose, and so it keeps storing up, and that's why you're more likely to have like diabetes, to be obese, and overweight, and have a heart disease. So people that have PCOS are supposed to be like working out, but not like high intensity workouts, because high intensity workouts also hamper PCOS. See, you guys, when I was researching this thing, I was just like, I'm so sick and tired. Because if you guys know me, I like food. I like meat, I like chicken, I like dairy, I like egg. But I don't really like dairy though. But I was just like, this is too much. You guys want me to work out. Like, my body wants me to work out, but it doesn't want me to work out too hard. It also wants me to lose weight, but it's also making it difficult for me to lose weight. Like, what am I supposed to do? It's so difficult. So I do understand why the doctor had said that I should be plant-based, try and do less cooking, because the more cooking you do, the higher temperatures that you use to cook your meals, like for example grilling or roasting, all of that, the more I'll put the full meaning here. AGEs are like toxins that foam up in like food or whatever. And this happens maybe because of like the way you cook your food, or maybe like they're found in like meat, animal products and derivatives. Anyways, but okay, another thing I experienced was the mood swings. First of all, I've always had bad mood swings, and I didn't know the cause, and I'm happy that I know what the cause is now. My mood swings are so bad. So bad. Like, if you're my friend, you know, like, Veronica can be laughing right now, and then the next moment, I'm just, like, in a terrible mood, and I get so emotional. I feel like every year it gets worse. I get so emotional. I'm crying at the most stupid things, and when I'm done crying, I'm like, why were you crying about that? Why? Someone makes a comment about me, you know, things that ordinarily I wouldn't even see as anything. That would lead to like it would start to fester in my mind, and I'll start overthinking all sorts of things, and before you know it, I'm crying. I'm just in my room like, literally, that's me crying. And when I'm done, I'll clean my face, take a shower, and then when I wake up, I'm like, what was that about? What was that episode about? People that have PCOS, especially if you're a guy, if you have a wife that has PCOS, a sister, a girlfriend, I feel like you should give her all the support that she needs, because sometimes she really can't handle those emotions. It's almost like a pregnant woman, you get. Sometimes, especially when you're on the pill, it's like you're a pregnant woman, you're always like crying, emotional, and all of that. So, men, please give your women or the women in your life who have PCOS the supports that they need, because I feel like it's so important, super important. And hey, sometimes I just lash out. Sometimes I can just lash out and say some things, and I would not even blink. You know when you say some things and you know that what I said is too harsh. Sometimes I'll say something and I'm just like, it is what it is, you know. You know, and yeah, hey, this is what PCOS does to you, and I have to live with it. So I've officially become plant-based. I know, like, of all people, Veronica become plant-based. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, go and check my Instagram page. I like food. Go and, like, I love eating. I love taking pictures of food. I love trying out food, trying out meat, lamb, chicken, turkey. Oh, that is what I like, but I can't keep up with that lifestyle because it's not good for me. Especially if I know that I want to have kids, which I know that I do. I have to like start making room for my babies. So I have to prepare my body for whatever treatments that I might require when I'm trying to have my baby. So I've cut back on meat. I haven't eaten meat in a month and a half. I haven't eaten any animal product in a month and a half. So meat, fish, eggs, cheese, butter, all of that, none in a month and a half. And I'm very proud of myself. What else? But what I do know that I will do moving forward is put in some fish in my diet, because I feel like I'm just going to miss eating so much. So I'm going to eat fish. So maybe I'll eat like some fish sometimes, but I know that there's some things I can live without. Meat, I don't have to eat meat. But fish, I don't eat fish, but I know that, you know, fish isn't bad to eat, so I think I will eat fish sometimes. But I mean, I'm trying out this plant-based to see like if it would have an effect on my cycle, and if it would have an effect on my, I know it's good for your health, but I'm really concerned about my reproductive system right now, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm really gutted that I found out really late, because I'm about to be 30. I'm going to be 30 next year. And I'm really gutted that I found out so late. I was diagnosed so late with PCOS. I wish I found out like earlier, maybe when I was 18. I remember watching a couple of videos on PCOS, and people were like, oh, I found out I had PCOS when I was 16, when I was 18, when I was 17. And I'm just here like, I found out when I was 28. I found out when I was 28. I'm just like, oh my God. But I'm thankful that, you know, it was at least eventually diagnosed, and, you know, I'm working towards making sure that I'm okay, you know, doing the occasional workouts, taking walks around the house, you know, eating right, trying my best to eat right. I have never taken healthy diets. I've never taken like healthy eating seriously, ever. only when I'm trying to like lose weight for something. I'm one of those people that I don't really care. But PCOS has really made me so scared, because obviously I want to have my babies, so you know it makes me emotional just even thinking about it. I want to have my babies, so I want to be able to. So I'm putting in the work to make sure that I can do this naturally without so much, without any stress. And you know how it is in this part of the world. Once you're married and you don't have a kid for like the first year, it's almost like, what's going on? I beg. That's when your husband's people are saying this, your own family too, they are saying this. God knows I don't want that stress, and I'm positive. I'm pretty sure that this will not be my experience, So that's the reason why I'm taking this, my veganism, so seriously, and I'm so thankful for my friends, the support, my family, my dad. Like when I came back home and I told my dad that this is what the doctor said, and I'm going to give it a shot. And my dad was really just like, okay, like, my dad is so sweet. Thank you so much, Daddy. I love you. My friends as well. Like these days when we're going to eat, because I like to go out to eat. When we're going out to eat, we always check the menu. Like, okay, my friend will be like, oh, this place there's like vegan food here. Let's try that. There's vegan food here, or this place there's no vegan food unless you just want to have a salad. And those little things really make me happy, because I know that it's like becoming a lifestyle, and it's like they've taken it on as this is what Veronica's life has become, and we're gonna have to keep moving with it and enjoying life regardless. So yeah, that's my PCOS story. I hope this video even made sense. I feel like I was just rambling. I remember when I posted I quit my job video, one of my cousins in Ghana had called me and let me know that I'm not alone. She also has it and she's doing fine. She has a child and all of that. So hey, I'm thankful for that. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope this video has been helpful to someone. I hope I've been able to, I hope my story has been able to motivate someone to at least go to the hospital to get checked and, to see how you're doing, to see if you're good. And yeah, and for those of you who already know that you have PCOS, you're not alone. We're on this journey together. I'm not here to tell you that I haven't figured out, because I don't. Like, my PCOS is still raging. I'm still trying out different stuff, but we're on this journey together. If you have any questions, if you have any recommendations, please slide into my DMs. If you don't want to post it on my comments, if you're bold enough to post on my comments, please go ahead and do so. And let's have a conversation on PCOS. Give me recommendations. Let me know what you've done. Let me know your story, and let's share ideas. I don't have all the answers. I'm still battling with my symptoms, but hey, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. We're definitely going to beat PCOS. We're going to have our babies, and they'll be healthy, and we'll be fertile enough to have twins, triplets, as many babies as we want, as long as God grants us life. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Love you. Bye.